Okay, I want to make a video real quick about our ability to respond, also known as responsibility. So, with being human, you are given this level of conscious awareness that other species don't have. So, for example, my cat can't go, at least to my knowledge, and self-reflect and be like, oh, I'm a cat and I think this and I can do this. Like, there's a lesser level of autonomy, and then it goes down with plants and then again with minerals. There is this thing, which I'm getting a little off track, but it's called the connecting links of consciousness. And it's basically how from mineral to plant, they need the same thing. From plant to animal, they need the same thing. So like with plants and animals, I think plants need light, like that's their food source. And so when you go up to animals, they also need light, but they also need like a different level, like food and water, and there was something else. And then with humans, they also need light, food and water, and then something else. I forget what it was, but there's connecting links to the evolution of something, and every subgroup, that group has to have all components of the subgroup. So from the mineral to the plant to the animal, the human has all those, but the mineral doesn't have what the human has. Does that make sense? Besides that, we as humans have a responsibility. I think that the gift that we were given is conscious awareness and autonomy, authority to be individual and make our own decisions. More specifically, we have the ability to, or the authority of our responses. So for an animal, they get a trigger, a stimulus, and they just respond, react. There is no conscious awareness space in between where they can self-reflect and be like, how do I think? How do I feel? It's like my cat sees a bird, it's gonna go get the bird. It's gonna attack the bird. That's just my cat's instinct. There is no level of consciousness for my cat to do anything else. It just has a trigger and a response. As humans, we also have that. Some humans just trigger and respond. Like someone threatens you, calls you stupid, you're gonna lash out, fight back. Someone, upsets you, you're gonna get angry. That's just a natural response. Versus humans do have this, it's like a 0.2 in between that trigger and that response where we can choose differently. We can step outside of ourselves and we can look at it and be like, this is how I would typically respond, but what do I actually want to do? So, for example, someone's calling me stupid. It's like, well, I could believe them, I could get mad at them. That's just an automatic response. Like, I'm just gonna think or do that way because I don't know any different. Versus stepping outside and being like, oh, I've actually gotten to know myself a lot and I don't think I'm stupid, and maybe this person is just perceiving that I'm stupid based on their beliefs. So it actually has nothing to do with me, and I don't need to respond. I don't need to get mad because it has more to do with them. So you can take that extra level of awareness and choose differently. That's honestly just what I think our gift is, the ability to respond and not be like trigger, response, and no consciousness behind it. We have the gift of consciousness to be like, no, wait, actually, what do I think and what do I want to do, rather than just like what my body's signaling me to do. Yeah, that's really it. Oh, something else I was gonna say is that I do think a lot of people will or society wants us to stay in our animalistic mind because it's easier to control someone's reaction to something when it's unconscious, because you can program their unconscious beliefs. And we see that through like the whole MK Ultra idea, like how they program stuff in shows. It's literally called a TV program, like programming. Hey, it's right there. News broadcasting spells, manipulating, like, oh, we know this. It's easier to control someone's subconscious and make them just react and respond. And that's why in today's society, they don't want you to develop your consciousness. They're like, oh, distract yourself online, distract yourself with all these other things. Like, don't sit with yourself and all your emotions and your subconscious and try and develop it. Just distract yourself. It's way more fun. It's way easier. Like, you don't need to do that. No, we do need to do that. We need to sit with ourselves, understand our subconscious, and understand how we relate to ourselves, the world around us, and what we want for everyone and everything. But no one is taking no one's taking the time to do that, but it's just easier to not do that. And people are getting distracted with so many other things that are not of value. But honestly, like, our ability to respond is so important in our consciousness. Yeah, society wants us to stay in that animalistic mindset. They want to program our subconscious beliefs and be like, hey, react, respond this way when you get this trigger. And then I can control, what you're going to say, what you're going to do. And now it's like, I don't know, people are just responding and reacting, and then they'll kind of come out of it and they're like, oh, why did I act that way? Why did I do that? And it's like, oh, because you're not taking the time and energy to get to know yourself and choose differently. You're just responding, reacting. Like, you get your trigger and you respond. Like, for example, someone's yelling at you at work. It's going to be really easy to, like, want to yell at them back. Like, someone's yelling at you, you want to yell back. It's like, but is that productive per se? Do you want to be yelled at? No. So this person probably doesn't want to be yelled at either. How can you incorporate in, like, not yelling and maybe diffusing the situation, transmuting it? But yeah. Okay, that's all I really want to say. I don't want it to get too long. I don't want to ramble. But I would say from here on, like, try and develop your consciousness, develop how you feel, and sit with yourself. Don't just get distracted by, I don't know, all the things of this world that are trying to distract you. They're trying to distract you on purpose. They're trying to control your responses on purpose because your response is so powerful. What you choose to think, speak, act is so important, and we do have authority to we don't necessarily have authority to what we think. Sometimes thoughts just come in, but we're that conscious observer. We can choose to feed the thought or let the thought go. Same thing, like, we don't always have control over our actions, but when we do have control, it's just taking that authority. Like, if someone, like, hits your knee, like, you're gonna do that little, like, kick, at the doctor's, like, you don't really have control over that, but it's like, you can control what you choose to eat for breakfast. Do you get what I'm saying? So just learn your responsibility and have responsibility. Be held accountable for what you're choosing. Don't just be like, oh, why am I acting this way? That's so crazy. You're acting that way because you're not taking time to figure yourself out. You're acting that way because you're not choosing to do anything different. You're just responding. So it is you to a certain extent because you're giving your authority and your power away to being unconscious. And when you are unconscious, then something else can come in and can take your consciousness. And that is not the best place to be at, because then you have not as much authority over your life, and you should want authority over your life. I have more I can say about this, and I'll probably make another video at another time when I have more cohesion, more like structure around how I want to get this out. But I did just want to make this video because it's kind of on my heart right now, and I want to share it with people. So yeah, leave any comments if you want to have me talk about anything else. I could talk about anything, literally anything, for however long. So feel free to leave it in the comments, and I hope everyone has a great and beautiful day today. Much love.